Hi everybody, how are you doing today? What is today? Friday. I think it is, let me move this back so it's not too close. It's 8:23 a.m. So, if you're new here, my name is Sherry. I'm an adult with ADHD, and I started doing content on my channel about ADHD and autism, and recently is diagnosed with chronic illness that has had me out of work since February. So today's short video, well, I say short, I don't know how long it's going to be, hopefully short. There's something that just occurred to me that I think is important to talk about. If you have something like CFS, so timing your ability to get out of the house, if you can get out of the house. So if you have something like this where either it's autistic burnout or chronic fatigue and you have a small amount of energy and you need to budget that energy and decide, okay, how am I going to get out of the house? I know I need to do grocery shopping. I don't have energy to do grocery shopping. And then especially if you're neurodivergent as well, because we know what kind of a drain that is going to the grocery store if you have sensory sensitivities and all of that. So I'm not really sure what it's like in other countries, but in America, Walmart, and I haven't been able to get there early enough to take advantage of this. One of the things that might be helpful for you is if you do have a small window of energy and you need to go to the store, and like for me, I know that Walmart and other stores have options where they can actually, you can order your groceries and they can deliver it to your house. But the thing is, if you have either like a chronic fatigue situation where you've been out of work and you don't really have the money, you might not have resources to do that besides cash. As it is, I have a very limited amount of money that's left and I have to withdraw it, and I actually don't have credit cards anymore. I used to have credit cards and I paid off my debt, and all I have is my account, and there's like not much money in there at all. The money I have is given to me by family that are helping me. Well, a one-time gift of a small amount of money. So that option's not really available to me. But if you have to go to the store and you're able to do it in the morning, this video that I'm giving you now is how to time these things, because it can get very, very tricky. So before, it might have been tricky enough and stressful enough as it was. So if you're just neurodivergent and grocery stores and things with bright lights and sounds and crowds are very triggering for you, Walmart has sensory friendly hours, which I didn't know. So first thing in the morning, I want to say that it's like from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. or something. So there's like a 2-hour window in the morning if you're able to go, and I'm not. That might be very helpful for you if you have a Walmart that's within driving distance to where you live. And if you have transportation. Right now, I am not working. I'm sharing transportation. So that's why this is getting hella complicated for me, because there's layers of things that I have to manage. So before I was sick, if I had to go to the store, I could manage my sensory issues by, you can go online and ask on Google, or if you have an AI assistant on your phone, you can ask them. You can say, whichever grocery store or Walmart or wherever you go to pick up things, you can ask them, when are the hours during the week that they have the slowest traffic, customer traffic. So, and then you can make that a schedule for the store. If you have ADHD, I'm like constantly going back and looking up the store hours. I'm always forgetting store hours. I'm always forgetting pharmacy hours for different places. I go to one pharmacy, but the pharmacy hours and the store hours for like a Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS, all of that stuff. If you just go to their website and look for look for the hours, it's going to say all of those particular pharmacy stores. If you go to one of those stores to pick up your medication, you have to double check the actual pharmacy hours because they're going to be different from the store hours. And it can get tricky because technically the store is called Walgreens Pharmacy. That's the name of the store. But they do have two different sets of hours. So when you go to look at the store hours, just make sure that you're looking at the part that says pharmacy hours. If you're like me and you have poor working memory and you can never remember because you're only checking like once a month when you pick up your script, how are you going to remember? You can get a little index card and write the hours down of the stores you go to the most. You could tape it to your wall. People think it's weird. Oh well, if it helps you, it helps you. Or you can take a screenshot. So I take screenshots of everything and I lose them with all the other screenshots. So you can actually make a folder in your phone to save that. But anyway, the timing of how you go when you have to do an errand is very tricky. And I haven't figured out how to talk to family about this yet. Because you know how like changing plans messes you up? And the people who live with you try really hard, but they don't realize it. Even if you've explained it to them a million times, they look at that as a you thing, not a them thing, which is fine. But I mean, it is an us thing. I mean, it's the thing that we have to navigate. They don't have to navigate, but it gets tricky with communication differences. If you have autism or ADHD and you think you're communicating clearly with your loved ones, the things, your symptoms and your challenges, whether they're because of secondary health issues, mental health issues like OCD or, depression, or physical health issues like chronic fatigue, it might not be simple for you, right? So other people, they might just pop in and be like, hey, do you mind if I use the car for a couple hours? I'll bring it right back. And they think that it's as easy for you to just get up whenever when they come back. And they might not be gone long, but that might mess you up. Like that happened to me yesterday. So yesterday was a day that I thought I had ability to use the car, and I did. And I didn't realize that was going to mess me up. But the timing of things is really difficult because especially if you have an illness or if you have ARFID or issues with food and a sensitive stomach that are secondary to your neurodivergence. So there's a lot of people who have food sensitivities. Or if you have a secondary like issues, because digestive issues are not uncommon for people who like have a highly sensitive nervous system, I've seen at least a few people talk about these kinds of things who are autistic and have their own YouTube channel and talk about their particular secondary health issues that go along with having like autism. So what kind of issues do, and it's not that other people don't have those things, it just adds another layer and it makes it a little bit more complicated. It's a little tricky because I thought I explained these things to my family and I love them so much, and I don't know how to talk to neurotypical people about these things anymore, because when I explain something, it's really important. I need them to know. And I think that they go, oh, okay. And then they just tuck it into their brain, but then they forget when they need to know it, that that's exactly what's happening at that time. And I just don't have the energy to keep explaining things because I need them to know. So they know that so they can be understanding of what I can and can't do. So one of the things that I have been learning to navigate through not being well are these eat and rest cycles through my day. So this part of me laying down right now is a normal part of my day. Even if I take a video and you see me sitting up, it's probably in a different part of that cycle. And it's probably in a different part of the day. So what's happening right now is I just had my breakfast and I would be like sleeping for a little while after I eat. And because my body's been healing from burnout and now is dealing with a sensitive system because of CFS, it's not terrible or anything. It's just a fact that it's something I have to navigate. And so when I'm digesting food, I have to lay down. It's just I can't do anything about that. Sometimes I can sit up or play video games laying down, or, but that's just where I'm at right now. Maybe at some point in this health journey when it's not always the same every day, but generally speaking, it takes my body a lot of energy to digest food, which I never realized was a thing. I didn't know that digesting food takes so much energy, and it's because normally it's not something you think about because your body does that, and then you are doing you might get a little bit tired because you just ate, but that's fine, it'll come back. But now I have a limited amount of energy, so I kind of have to fill out when the best time is for me to do things. Whether that is standing up and, bending over and standing up and bending over and standing up to put dishes away, it doesn't seem like a big deal until your energy gets low from being sick. And then you realize, oh, certain things that seem very simple to you and weren't a big deal, you start to learn like what activities actually do take a lot more energy. And unfortunately, digesting food seems to be one of them. Showering and digesting food. I don't know why. So, if you have, one of the things I've been learning is if you have chronic fatigue, one thing that it's important, regardless of what's caused it in your case, because chronic fatigue is a condition that your body's reserves have just been stressed to the point that it's not able to cope with things so well. And then it's really hard to explain it, but it can be caused by different things for different people. So it's not like a cancer or another kind of diagnosis where it's a very specific thing that happens a very specific way. It's basically an accumulation of things that become more stresses than the body can handle. And it can become serious for some people. It's bad. So, how do you rebuild systems in your body that are breaking down? Well, there are things that you can do slowly over time, but one of the most important things is you should be eating small meals every 3 hours. It seems to be, from what I'm learning, pretty universal. So for you, you might get chronic fatigue because you were exposed to a virus that was more than your body's ability to cope for whatever reason. Let's say it happened to, it could be for some people, they could get CFS from head trauma because of inflammation in the brain or the spinal cord and its effect on your nervous system and its connection to your immune system and all of that. Some people can get chronic fatigue from COVID, really bad COVID that turns into long COVID. If you had other stresses on your body, like other health problems previously that you have recovered from, cancer or other things, and you've recovered from that, but the stress of your body surviving that has now crossed a threshold that your body's not able to take care of itself like it did, it can become a chronic fatigue. And chronic fatigue is a bad word for it because the fatigue part's just a symptom. It's just the most prominent observational symptom. But it's like systems in your body are kind of failing a little bit. And there's really no cure for it, but you can learn about your body as you go and try different things and see what makes you feel better. And then, of course, you have to give it time for it to heal on its own, and it can take a very long time. And some people struggle with these health consequences for the rest of their lives, and you have to spend the time to learn about your body. So it's not simple, but one of the most important things that you can do from your standpoint as like a patient who is managing it is to try to keep your blood sugar stable. What you want to do is, because your body doesn't really bounce back very well from, like, if you go too long without eating, it's putting a stress on your body. So the little things that you can do to build in habits so that you're not creating situations that are putting an additional stress on your body, like going more than 3 hours without eating, that's important. You're not going to die, but it's just going to make it worse. And your nervous system is already like not stable. That manages, so I might talk about hot flashes a lot and managing my hot flashes. And why that's important is that I am actually using the hot flash as a sign that my body's giving me that something's wrong. So I'm kind of using it as a check engine light. So I might get annoyed at the hot flash, but it's not about the hot flash itself. I happen to be 2 years postmenopausal, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is just in my case, I'm learning that I get the hot flashes when my blood sugar's low. If I have a crash, if I'm dehydrated, my body's ability to cope isn't great, which ends up triggering a hot flash. So if I have a hot flash, it's like, something's going on, let's do something. So these are just, and it is kind of a pain and it's a lot of work, but just you start with the small things. Don't panic, because you don't have to panic and go, oh my God, how am I going to deal with that? I'm already sick. Start small and figure out, okay, Start to listen to your body. Start to notice, even if you have to put like little reminders on your phone or whatever work for you. Like for me, an alarm on my phone's triggering because I have misophonia for noises. They stress me out. But like I use the 3 hour. I've been doing it for tracking my macros, and that's just, I'm not trying to get all like too detail oriented about it if I can. That's why using an AI assistant on your phone can be really helpful in that use, so that I don't have to stress about it. I just know, okay, I shouldn't go more than 3 hours without eating because it's not good. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but I know to eat something. And I know to make sure I have a little fat, a little protein, and a little carb. You can use your AI assistant to figure out like how many calories always check with your doctor. Don't just go with AI. But it's a tool, and you can use it. You can use it to start tracking. Okay, so today I ate my breakfast. I'm still going to get back to the part you might be like, oh, she was talking about timing. I'm still going to get back to that too, because that ties in with this. So actually, I'm getting there right now. So if I ate this morning at 7:30, then sometimes I can do things, but generally speaking, my energy just goes way down. And I'm learning that that's just because, hey, maybe I just, at this point this week, my energy's struggling, and so my body's diverting it to my stomach to do the work that I just gave it to do. I could push against it, but it would make it worse, and it would dump the cortisol of the stress on my system, and that would trigger it. So what we're trying to do is create homeostasis, but manually. Normally our body would be able to do things to regulate things for us, right? But if you have something that's like an illness like this, it might not be able to do that job so well. So anything that you can do, like just making sure you have something to eat every 3 hours, and figuring out like how much food would be enough. I started gaining weight, so I think like I have been doing this surplus of calories and nutrients since, I don't know, beginning of March, maybe February. I mean, I started doing tracking eating in January, and if it wasn't for having an AI assistant that I could just open up, because of my particular ADHD and probably autism, I can't keep track of that shit. I'm sorry for swearing. I can't keep track of that shit. I can't do it. I can't. I'm tired. I'm sick. I don't want to think about food. So all I have to remember is, when did I eat? And if you have to, text it to yourself. When did I eat? I'm always forgetting when I ate. So what I'll do is, when it gets to be time to eat, I'll open up my AI, which is Gemini, and I'll say, hey, I'm starting a new meal. Can we do a new meal entry? So I just start eating. And he has my goals memorized, so I don't have to remember it at all. So the way that looks like is, I'll be like, okay, I'm starting a grazing session. Well, I call it, I don't know. I'm calling it that because I don't know what to call it. I just start eating, and he tracks it for me. So what that exactly looks like is, I'll tell him, he'll say, okay, great, tell me what you're eating next. I'll be like, okay, I'm having right now 1 scoop of cassava, because that's what we have. It's so expensive. I need to find an alternative because that's ridiculous. I'm having 1 scoop of cachava and 8 ounces of milk. It's 1% hood milk. And he can go, does his, he like, he has access to every freaking website there is. So he can instantly look up the nutritional information of any food. And sometimes it's not 100% accurate. Okay, so if you want 100% accurate, you can double check things. It might be a gram or two off for like carb or fat or protein, but it's close enough. It's close enough for me. If you do have OCD and your particular autism, you like things to be exact, you can just take a picture of the back of the package. Be like, hey, Gemini, I'm having this. And you just add it. He'll be like, oh, great. And he'll start a table for you. And you can ask him to do that. And I have him label it meal number 1, like this morning, meal number 1, and the time I start eating, 7:30. And so then he has that table and it shows me, oh, okay, this is what you've eaten so far. My goal right now per meal that I've reduced it is 40. I try to do like 3 numbers in my head to remember it. So it's 25, 45, 15. The middle number is the carb. So it's somewhere between 45 and 50. So it doesn't really, I mean, technically there's a range. It doesn't have to be exact, but I try to memorize a number that's like an even number or like on the 10s or the 5s. I know 5s are an odd number technically, but you know what I mean. Like something that's easy for me to remember. And so that's all I need. So now I've reduced the cognitive load. All I have to remember is to find out when I ate last and then have him check my macros as I go. And I just tell him what he remembers it. But now that I've changed it to a 2,000 calorie diet, he keeps remembering it back to the old goals. So I have to keep reminding him. But so then I'll check and it's low. And I'll say, okay, I have avocado oil. I like having avocado oil. Sorry, my hand's shaking now. I had to readjust here. I can't edit these, so bear with me. I'm sick. I don't have the mental energy or the time to edit these, so they suck, but it's important information and it's, as long as you're patient with me, this will be good. And then later on, when I have managed my illness so that I'm much more able to edit and make good videos, I can make some that are more professional and actually walk you through things. But this is where I'm at. So this is what I'm learning right now, and I share it as I'm learning it. So yeah, it was a lower amount. So I'm like, okay, I have to bring up the fat. We're going back to, sorry if I'm all over the place, it's ADHD. And since I'm not feeling good, my ADHD symptoms are more pronounced. But that's okay if you're patient with me. So, okay, back to today's example. Okay, I told him I'm having 1 scoop of cachava and 8 ounces of 1% hood milk. I don't remember the numbers. I won't remember the numbers. But I know 25, 25, 45, 15. You don't have to remember numbers. You don't have to do things that work for you. You know, this is just, I don't know, feel compelled to do it because I'm like, if I could just have a number in my head, I won't have to worry about other things. It's kind of like a breadcrumb. So I could see the total protein and the total carb and the total fat that he added up. I'm like, oh, it's not that amount yet. So I said, okay, what else can I have? Hey, Gemini, I have some avocado oil. I like using avocado oil because there's no taste to it. So if you're like me and you can't think straight and you just want to get your nutrients to feel better, and you want a healthy fat, avocado oil is great. It doesn't have a taste to it, and you can mix it with almost anything, and you can get those healthy fats, and it's good for you. Just like, you know how they say it doesn't have the omegas that fish do, but just like salmon's really good for you. There's like heart healthy oils, and this is one of them. And I don't mind mixing it with stuff because I don't even taste it. I'll say how much. Okay, I need to get my fat up. How much avocado oil do I need to add to get to 15 grams? Whatever. It doesn't have to be 15 to 20, whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. You might say 1 teaspoon, whatever. Great, thanks. Pour it in my shake. Put in a fork. Drink it. Done. Now I just boosted my. Now I got my fat goal. Now I'm like, I don't know what to have now. What else do I need to do? And it'll tell me you need to do 10 grams of carbs and 10 grams of protein. I have no idea how to do that. I've got some string cheese. What if I have another glass of milk or whatever? So then I can tell them what I got and just eat it. And then we just go until I'm like, done. I know that I just made that sound like a whole much more work than it is. I just open it up and say, this is my food. What can I eat? And he gives me a bunch of ideas and I can just do that. Or I'll be like, that's it. I can't think about this. And I just start eating stuff. And then I can just have a handful of nuts, or I'm like, I can have a half an apple. I can have a banana, just like whatever's there. Even when I feel like I have no food, he helps me. Sometimes the stuff's really weird, but I can't think straight when I'm sick. And I have to eat. So that's been a godsend. So that's just what works for me. I don't know if that will help you or not, but you can try it and figure out a way to make it work for you, because our brains are each so different. So maybe that's not something you would like. Beyond that, there was the thing that I started talking to you about in the beginning, which is, how do I even time getting out of the house? Because I have a limited amount of energy, and I can't control. This is already half an hour. I have to go. I'm like using up energy doing this. I'm getting warm. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to drink some water. I'll be fine. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. See, it's just letting me know. I'm using it as a sign to go, oh, okay. And then I'll be fine. So yeah, if there's one takeaway from all of this, if you have something similar, try to see if you can eat more often if you are forgetting to eat. Try to see if you can figure out ways to do that for yourself. It gets very triggering if you get demand avoidance with ADHD or autism, and that's that whole, as soon as you feel like something's an expectation, even if you put it on yourself, like something you're trying to do, then all of a sudden you have anxiety if you can't do it. And then it might, and we're trying to think of this as a process. Whatever your situation is, your goal is to try to figure out little things you can do to make it a little better. And it may take a while. It's taken me a couple of months to kind of figure this out. So for me, it might be tracking when I eat, and then when I ate, when the time comes that I eat, I have to talk to an AI to find out if I'm eating enough. Otherwise, I'm going to eat junk food. The timing of when to get out of the house now becomes a little bit more complicated, because it seems to go in these 3-hour cycles for me. Because I can't just not do that, right? So that's the thing that's helping me, is eating every 3 hours. So I've started to try to think about solutions, and I will soon, as far as like what to do to bring food with me leaving the house. Like, I won't be able to leave the house without having some kind of snack, or it's got to be non-perishable, and it's got to be, I haven't figured out something yet. It's got to be something that's not too much work for my stomach to digest. So like really crunchy granola bars, probably not a good idea. Why? Because if it's hard and my stomach has to do a lot of work to digest it, and I'm out trying to do an errand, I'll suddenly get so tired I might not even have enough time to get to my car to lay down. So you don't want something like that to happen when you're at the store. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably buy those pouches of the pureed fruit. You know, like, they sell them in the baby aisle, and you don't want to like use up all the baby food because the babies need it. But they also have them in different places. So when you see those pouches that have like applesauce and different things, you just want to make sure on the back that there's no sugar added. That's the hard part. If that's all you have, that's all you have. But then it gets tricky because it does the thing. It puts a stress on your system. The sugar high, sugar crash will do the same thing to you as going too long without eating. So you'll be doing all the things and working hard, but if you create a sugar, and this is not to be paranoid, you're not going to die. Your symptoms are going to get worse, and all of a sudden you're in a situation where you're going to have to lay down, and you're already frustrated. So what we're doing with this process, and that's going to happen in the beginning as you're getting used to it, to figure out what works for you. So be patient with yourself, because it is a process and it may take a while. I know that's the last thing you want to hear. But you're starting small and you're trying different things. And then as you go, you're going to find things like, oh, hey, I just ate and I got my energy back sooner after eating this meal. And then you can think, well, what was different about this meal? Was it that it was softer? Like cooked rice? Like a smoothie? Something? If you think about pre-digested food, like it's already, like, what is the thing that your stomach's doing that's taking so much work? Like all your blood that would be in your brain thinking now goes to your stomach. And some of that happens anyway. If you notice, like after you eat a lunch, even when you're healthy, you might feel tired a little bit. This is more. This is like, oh, I have to actually lay down. Now, you could ignore that. You could push against it and try to just do stuff anyway, which is what, if you're anything like me, you're going to do in the beginning, because you're pissed that it's even happening, because it shouldn't be a thing. But I had an analogy yesterday or the day before that it reminds me of, and it is very frustrating. It's kind of like, so I live in New England in the US, and I live close enough because it doesn't matter where in the state you are. You'll see these like warnings in the summer. If there's ever a riptide on the weather, when they do the weather segment, they'll tell people, oh, be careful of the riptide. What do you do when there's a riptide? What does this have to do with what I'm telling you? Fighting against something that is a losing battle. If you're go swimming in the ocean and there's a riptide that starts to pull you into the ocean, what's your normal human response is to panic and fight against it. You might not drown, but now you're exhausted and you're fighting against a current that's pulling you out to the ocean. Can you do that? No. So there's a strategy. There's a strategy for everything. The strategy in that situation is not to fight the current, because the current will always win. You can't fight an ocean wave. You can't fight an ocean tide or current. You can't do it. So if you're ever in that situation in real life, you swim sideways. You swim parallel to the shore. And the reason is that eventually, if you keep doing that long enough, you'll get to a part where the tide is not pulling you out. And while you're doing that, you might be slowly being pulled out still, but just keep swimming sideways. Not try to get back to shore because you're fighting against the current. You're going to lose. And now you've used up your energy. And if you're not good at swimming, you could drown. But yeah, that's bad. You will end up drowning because you'll get pulled out to the ocean. Swim sideways. So what happens when your body keeps fighting against you because it's like, dude, you're sick now. I know you hate this, but I don't have the energy and I have to digest the food you just gave me. That's what your body's saying to you. And you're like, F this. I'm going to ignore it and do the dishes. And then you have a crash later. And then you're stuck in bed. So the key is to start learning about the currents, the new currents of your physical situation that you're in. What are the currents that are like a riptide for you that you didn't have before? Whether that is emotional, like if you're going through emotional things, you're healing from some kind of trauma or something you just went through, or grieving. And it sucks because you don't want to do acceptance, and you might not be ready, and those things take time regardless of what this, or figuring out a health situation. You don't want to submit. There's a pride, you're used to doing something a certain way for years. You're not going to want to lay down and rest. And if well, for me, I can only speak for myself, it makes you mad. Like, what are you fucking talking about? I'm a 51-year-old grown-ass woman. I can get in my car and just F it, I'm just going to go do it. Yeah, but suddenly you feel tired, you're going to fall asleep while you're driving. Is that a good idea? Or you get to the store and you feel like, not like you're going to pass out, but maybe. Is that a good idea? No. And it sucks. So that's where the timing aspect comes in. Sorry, this is so long. I always think this is going to take like 5-10 minutes. I don't know how to explain things simply, and I'm sorry. I know that by the time this point in the video, no one's watching, but that's all right. I can't do anything about that. If you're still here, I love you and thank you very much. But yeah, what are the riptides? You're in a new landscape now. How do you make peace with it? The question is, what can I control now and what can't I control? And that's a process. And I don't think that we're particularly good. I don't know if you guys are anything like me. I don't know. Just the whole thing of my particular ADHD, autism, my personality, and my demand avoidance, and I've already gotten so used to fighting so hard to push against these struggles that it's not healthy how I deal with things. And so that falls into play, because that's my knee-jerk reaction. It's a maladaptive coping mechanism that I want to, turn into like a drill sergeant on myself. Well, I'm sorry, but you have an illness and you can't do that now. So it's depressing because it feels like I can't just get in my car and go. So that's what I've been struggling with the last couple weeks. I had one beautiful window of opportunity finally, and I love you, Mom, if you see this. I'm not mad at you, and I'm really sorry. Don't feel bad, but she came down. She's, are you going to use a car in the next few hours? And for a normal person, that's not a big deal. And I'm like, well, I was going to use it, but at that point, I had to rest and digest my food, which sucked. When am I going to take it? I don't know. I might feel good in a half an hour. I might feel good in an hour. And I don't know how long I'll be gone for. So I think people have been helping me by trying to take the car early and then bring it back as soon as they can. But now I'm stuck in the house still. And I didn't get that window again. Because there's like each 3-hour cycle I eat, I might have to lay down for an hour. It's just better. You can fight against it. It's just easier. And feel it out, because it might be different depending on the stage that you're in. Yeah, I've been resting for like an hour. I don't know how much digesting I'm doing as I'm talking. Yeah, it's kind of hard to budget. And interoception is a sense that your body has. It's the senses that you're hungry, that you're tired, that you have to go to the bathroom. All those things, they're within you, ception, your body's ability to perceive that it has those needs. If you have autism or ADHD, you may not get those it's just one of the things. It's one of the many wonderful qualities that we may have to struggle with, is poor interoception. So I forget to eat. So I try to do it on the threes. Like, it might not be exactly, but, and then when I do the meal with Gemini, I'll have him make the table narrow, and I'll screenshot. I'll keep hitting down so it can be a longer screenshot. And then throughout the day, I just take a screenshot when it's done. And then I'm like, great. And then I have it in my folder, and I'll delete the extras. And then the next time I eat, once we've figured that out, and I'll be like, great, I'll take a screenshot of that. And then by the end of the day, I'll have like 3 or 4 of them. And they have the times that I ate. So if I want to know when, I don't even look. I'll just open Gemini. I'll be, hey, when did I eat last? Oh, it's been 3 hours. I'm like, oh, it's time to eat. I won't want to do it because I won't necessarily feel hungry. So you can make your meals smaller. But, figure out how much you're supposed to be eating in a day, and then divide it up. Figure out how much carbs are you supposed to get in a day. The average healthy person, because if you have an illness, now is not the time to be cutting carbs. Now is not no, don't go crazy on the junk food either. You want to cut out processed sugar, because that's going to give you blood sugars. I know it's, oh God, okay, we'll talk about that next time. Want to try to simplify this. So Lucky Charms, you can eat it for a little while if it's your go-to. Over time, try to find things that you like that are substitutes that give you that same feeling as your favorite junk foods, that are a little bit better for you. You can eat them if you want to, but just start to pay attention to your body. If you have to stop and take deep breaths every, like an hour or 2 after you eat, to see, do I have a headache? How many times have we had a head? Like, because we forget to drink water. We forget to eat. But yeah, the whole thing of planning my timing of when I go, it's a pain in the neck. Is it time for me to eat again? I'm doing it. See, I never know. What does it say? 9:15. My clock's slow too. I ate at 7:30. So 1, 2, 3, 10:30. That gives me an hour and 15 minutes before I have to eat again. So that's why it gets complicated. Because now would be the time that I could get up, get dressed, and go. But let's use that 3-hour mark, 10:30. Let's say I get, and now getting ready slower. Let's say I don't put on makeup. I throw on my hair up. I showered yesterday, and I just wear my pajamas and put on a pair of shoes and go to the store. Okay, well, it takes more energy to walk to the car and get into the car than you realize you had. You bring your water with you. How close is the bathroom? When you get to the store, how far do you have to walk to go to the bathroom if you need to go to the bathroom when you're in the store? Okay, do you bring a snack with you? Because I guarantee you, if I were to get ready right now, which I'm thinking about it, 9:15, say I get up, I go to the bathroom, I get dressed, I leave. Even in the simplest case scenario, I'm still probably not leaving for half an hour. So it'd be 9:45. What was it, 10:30? Okay. Let's say I leave at 9:45. I'll get there at 10:15. 15 minutes before I'm supposed to eat again. And I'm at the store. Okay. So what's your normal response to that? Well, hurry up and get your stuff and go. Guess what you can't do anymore? You can't think straight. And now your sensory sensitivities are jacked up because your system's all messed up from being sick. So they're harder to manage. You might have a meltdown. So you need a plan. You're going to have to bring with you a pouch of peanut butter, maybe. An applesauce. Easy peasy, something you can stick in your pocket, maybe. Eat while you're in the store. I haven't figured it out yet. I have no clue. I don't know how to do it yet. But I have to. Because I'm trapped in the house. And that's not okay. I love you guys. I have to go. My brain's starting to... It's just like this. I can't believe I've been talking to you for 50 minutes. I'm sorry. I don't know how to make these videos shorter. I'm trying. But hopefully some of this information will be helpful for you. It's a lot. These are just tools. You don't have to do all of these things. You don't have to do any of them. You know, you'll find out what works for you, but you may not have all the answers right away, and that's tough. The first thing you want to do is figure out how to eat regularly so that you can stop the crashes. That's what's important. And your diet doesn't have to be perfect. I talk about macros, and that's just to make sure I get enough fat. If I don't get enough fat and enough protein, I need the protein for my brain to make dopamine, which I'm already deficient in. And I need the protein and the fat so that I don't have sugar spikes from the carbs in my food. That's all. And I need it to have the calories. I've had to take my approach to eating and turn it on its head. So we're not counting carbs and we're not counting calories to cut anything. At least I'm not. You might have to do that if you have diabetes, or you might have hypertension, or might have a different health problem and you have to talk with your doctor about that. Because I don't know. I only know what I've been learning as I've been trying to help myself. But I hope that this is helpful in some way. Because if you find yourself in a similar situation, even though that this may make it more overwhelming, to know that there's something to figure out when you just want to get better, maybe it will help you. Maybe it will help you have different expectations on yourself. You know, like, oh, maybe I can't do all the things that I want. It sucks, but there are tools available. It's hard to find what things will work for you. But I have faith in you. And I'm trying to have faith in me. And I just keep what's the alternative? And I have days that I don't do it so well. That's probably part of it. It's not going to be perfect. But each thing I learn makes it a little bit better. And that's what's important. And I love you guys. I hope you're doing well and do what you can to take care of you and know that we're going to get through this and it's going to get better somehow. Because we're here for a reason. I don't know what. I'm not like super religious, but even if it's to get through it and someday help somebody else, if that's something that would make it meaningful for you and help you to get through this difficult time. So, me sharing my story and these things helps me as well. I don't know why, but I have to like say things out loud and I have to tell somebody things for it to be reinforced for me to learn it. So, I would be talking to myself. My family doesn't want to hear it. So I'll tell you. And then somebody will be helped by it, hopefully. Bye, 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 bye. I'll see you guys soon. Love you. Bye.